The third and final part of this special edition of As It Happens. I'm Pule Mabe from the ANC. As we turn tables and let the politicians be presenters. Tomorrow, the DA's Natasha Mazone. Now an opportunity for you to engage directly with me. Our lines are open on 011-759-6340. Any topic on the ANC that you wish to raise, from policy to leadership. On the line, we have Paul from Boksburg. Yes, Paul. Hello, Paul. Yes.
Le guys.
Paul.
Ke Paul Musido.
Ke mametse.
Rustenburg.
Yeah, what's your question, Paul?
Okay, nna ke ne ke botsa gore na jolo ka ile mona nang go bona la strike sa ko mafijing a ICC feli ANC ka mafokae. Because like I said, ke ne ke zeletse di ganga je go batho ba go position mo ba strike ile mme ba bile ba bua gore ka mamoso ba straight go mahikeng.
Okay. No. No reale boga ntate Paul. What is happening is that we have already explained to members of the general public on the kind of an intervention that the African National Congress is already making on matters of the Northwest Province. You will know that the National Working Committee has met, and one of the decisions it took was that the officials should meet with the premier of that province, who's also the chairperson of the ANC, to begin to work out what could be a constructive resolve towards the ongoing impasse, so that within the shortest time possible, the ANC is able to be seen returning that province to levels of stability. I can assure you now that when the National Executive Committee of the ANC sit next week at this ordinary meeting, it will be able to convey and communicate one final decision, and one that begins to assure the people of Bokoni Bophirima that we are serious about the return of stability in that province. You'll also have seen that there are quite a number of interventions that are being taken at the government level. There was an interministerial committee that has already begun with its work. You'd also have seen that the National Council of Provinces has already received a letter from the state president of the Republic where there's also consideration to place the entire province of the Northwest under Section 100. All of these things are being done to make sure that the different accusations that have been raised as it relates to the work of the administration are sufficiently addressed, and show South Africans that when the ANC acts, it also acts in their interest and to resolve their own problems. Our next caller is Taijo from Polokwane. What's your question?
Mr. Pule, how are you? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you, Taijo.
Okay, cool. I was saying, it's actually not really a question, it's just a plea. We know that corruption happens all over the world, and in Africa we've got a special type of corruption whereby there's corruption and there's no delivery. South Africa is more or less the last country in Africa that hasn't been as ruined as the rest, and I would like to blame that ruin squarely on corruption. So I would say that to improve our country, can you kindly, please, stop the ducking and diving around the real issues in our country. We know that one of the biggest issues is the stealing and looting of the current administration. We can blame the Guptas all we want to, but they are, I believe, a small problem. The biggest problem is the ANC. I'm sure you can do better. You've done a very remarkable job in fighting apartheid. I'm sure you can do a better job in fighting poverty, because I think you've got an excellent opportunity to put yourselves in a green light on the history of our country. And I say good luck.
Okay, Taijo, yes, I hear your question, and thanks for that. I can assure you that fighting corruption and restoring public trust has been one of the areas that the ANC is focused on, especially when it is grappling with the issue of renewal. You'd also know that going into the next elections would require that the cadreship of the ANC demonstrate from amongst the people of South Africa its own reliance on public policy and what it is doing to make sure that where instances of corruption are occurring, it is seen to be acting with the necessary speed. Law enforcement agencies are there. There are various other measures that are being put forward to make sure that corruption is fought. But of course, one of the things that the Premier of Gauteng said yesterday at the launch of Tumamina, media launch of Tumamina in Tembisa, which will ultimately be unveiled by the President this Friday in Makulong Stadium, was that fighting corruption must not detract us from also propelling forward service delivery, so that there are no excuse given that the reason we did not close a pothole is because we're fighting corruption. The reason we did not distribute the much-needed jobs to our people was because we're dealing with corruption. All of these things are supposed to have a symbiotic relationship. Fight corruption on the one hand, but make sure that you deliver basic services to our people on the other hand. Now, our next caller is Mazwi from Johannesburg. Mazwi, what's your question?
Mr. Mabe, thank you for taking my call. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
Yes. All right. We've been noting the pressure that has been put by the economic freedom fighters in Parliament regarding the question of land. And this pressure led to the ANC's 54th National Conference taking a resolution to expropriate land without compensation. Now, Mr. Mabe, we want you to put us as ordinary South Africans into your confidence whether is the ANC going to amend Section 25 of the Constitution to allow for the expropriation of land without compensation. Secondary, I just want to know if does the ANC, under the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa, support nationalization of land? Thank you.
Matlatsi, for this one question, I would make sure that we take a joint bite. But just before you come in, I think it is important that I assure Mazwi that the land issue has always been on the agenda of the ANC since 1912. When the ANC was formed. So it is not a new subject. Actually, what many might not have noted was that whether it was even maybe to take Mazwi back a little bit, even through the African claims that we led and championed, through the 1955 Freedom Charter, and ultimately through our own RDP program under President Mandela, the land question has always been primary and at the center of everything else that we're doing. Actually, when we amended the motion of the EFF initially, what we had sought to do was to make sure that there is a parliamentary process that is being undertaken in the manner that it is. And I'm sure you have seen, I mean, at one point, there were already thousands and thousands of people that are already responding to that. So this is out of an intervention that the ANC has made.
And an intervention also that came about because of the pressure from the EFF that was very vocal about it. But also, Pule, you are also very much aware that within the ANC, there are very differing voices about how to actually go forward. There are those that are saying you don't need to amend the Constitution to ensure that there's expropriation without compensation.
Well, Matlatsi, you'll agree with me that, and of course, as a senior journalist yourself, that it is only fair that Mazwi and many others out there allowed, because I mean, for the first time, this is quite historic, the ANC hosts a National Land Summit. We bring together different stakeholders. I mean, what other party has done that? To make sure that in whatever we come up with, our resolutions are a reflection of the different views coming from different stakeholders in the country.
Some people might say 24 years late, but I have a question for you. You said I could ask anything. I'm hoping that I can. One that has been bothering me for quite some time. What happened to the disciplinary process against Duduzi Manana for assaulting those two women?
Well, Matlatsi, I can assure you that there is a process already in the organization to address that. The SGO is attending to that, and within a short space of time, and you know, you can hold me to this, because every time I said within a short space of time, I did come back within that short space of time.
I guess the concern for a lot of women, especially in South Africa, where we're seeing so many violent attacks against women, when you have a member of the ANC who sits in the National Assembly and the party itself not taking action, it is a worrying message that you're sending out to women that are victims of this.
Well, I'm sure you'll agree that how the ANC conducts its activities and how it takes action, at a certain point it becomes a matter of internal arrangements, so that the party is given that space to allow everyone else to come forward raise their own issues, including Comrade Mdu Manana himself, so that having applied our minds to the different facts at play, we are able to ultimately communicate. I can tell you now that we have already expressed a dim view, even against femicide, because we believe that even the killing of women and children cannot be allowed to continue unhindered. You know, but well, Mahlatsi, it looks like our time for tonight is coming to an end. And by the way, thanks for coming and agreeing to join us on this As It Happens. And that's all we have time for tonight. Special thanks to my special guest, Mahlatsi from SANEF, and to you for watching and participating. If you missed any of today's program, you can watch again on YouTube. I hope you'll tune in again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another As It Happens special edition, which will be hosted by the DA's Natasha Mazone. I'm Pule Mabe, and good night. Thanks for watching.